everyone, and welcome back to the Tinmore Podcast. And today we're reading the Rakum and the Red's Treasure. So we're going on a treasure hunt, and not
Woo!
reading hunt and book hunt. So Mecca
Treasure
will
hunt.
be not very happy today.
Uh,
Cake.
well, I have a lot of books anyway, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Rackham the Red Treasure. Isn't that exciting? Yeah.
Yeah. Treasure hunt.
Woohoo! We start off on page 1, as we usually do, with this guy who is going into a cafe called the Anchor, and he sees his old buddy, Alphonse, who he's like, are you still a cook? And he's like, yeah. I heard you're no mind, the cook guy. He says, I'm going on a treasure on. Wait, no, he doesn't say that. He says, I'm going I'm going out sailing with Captain Haddock and Tintin. Do you know them? No, I do not.
What?
Wait, yeah, he does know them. My God, okay.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. Tintin Captain Haddock. Yo, man, I know them. The guy from the Bird Brothers. But tell me, isn't Sirius a trawler? Aren't you going? You're not going out fishing, are you? Get it? Because crime and that. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. And then the cookie's like, no, we're just going treasure hunting.
Just treasure hunting. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. And he explains that that's right, old pal. The treasure was like buried in the 17th century by a guy called Rakum the Red, who owned a ship called the Unicorn.
Wow.
We better watch out. The walls got ears. And then there's like this guy who looks an awfully a lot like Tintin, who's like writing down stuff.
All reporters look the same, Koso. It's just how it works.
Yes.
Also, like in the 3 panels that he's in, he's making the same exact face.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
Never changes. It always stays like that.
Yeah.
Facial
That's just the
expressions
face
are hard no
reporters
here.
have.
The next day, so that's now 2 days. Let's keep that in mind. Captain Haddock, he's walking down the street and buys a newspaper, and whoa, and he's like reading, and it says in the newspaper that the sailor community are talking a lot about Sirius, who's going on a treasure trip, and their goal is to find a treasure. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
The treasure was stolen by Rakum the Red. The ship went down in the 17th century. Blah 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 blah.
But like also, Haddock is like so pissed, and he's like, "Oh, these journalists are all alike. I can't wait to see what Tintin has to say about this." And then while he's talking to Tintin, he says, "These journalists are all the same." And I think he doesn't realize that Tintin's a reporter because Tintin doesn't often do his job. But still, like, wow.
Hypocrite.
Yeah, Haddock's like right in front of a reporter. He's like, reporters suck, and like Tintin's right there. Yeah, he doesn't say anything about it though.
Yeah, Tintin he's too busy reading. Relatable.
Then there's this big chungus looking guy who also looks to be like vibrating. He's like knocking on Tintin's door. Yes, Mr. Tintin. Yes, hello. I've read in the newspaper that you're trying to find the treasure from Rackham the Red. Is that correct? Yes. In that case, I would like to come with you, and I'm happy to announce that I'm going to have to get 50% of the treasure. And he
Good
said,
news, I'm taking 50%.
and he just gives him this piece of paper where it just says Rakum Red. I just
seems
love that he just
legit.
gives him a paper of his name.
I know. Well, it's on
Like
the
no
paper,
address.
so...
Yeah, it's just
Right, it's just...
give me
It
money
seems
for my
legit,
name.
though.
No. Yeah. And then Tintin is like, no, that's incorrect. Rackham the Red was called Rackham the Red, and you're just called Rackham Red. So shut up, Abu Dabu. And then there's like a bajillion people that that just says the same. He's like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm Red Rackham's descendant. I get the treasure too.
yeah.
All of us are.
Yeah.
We are all brothers.
Yeah, we're all related. So give us the money.
Yeah. And then the captain, he's like, he says, "Oh, you cowards! I'm gonna beat your asses up."
Yeah.
And then they
My
all run.
ancestor killed... Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, my ancestor killed your ancestor, so you want to see if that still rings true?
Oh yeah, that's so badass. I like that
Yeah.
ancestor thing.
And guess who we
Yeah.
find now? It's Timson and Thompson again.
Yay!
And they're just getting run over by the all the Rackham Red people. And
When are they
say-
not getting run over by something? Honestly.
They're always getting run over.
Yeah.
And they call them a huge bunch of bullies. Yes, certainly, a huge
I
bunch
see.
of bullies. Yes. And then the captain, he eats some books in their head. So their caps, not like their hats. I'd like to
Yeah.
see Timson and Thompson with caps on, like snapbacks.
Why?
Yo,
Why would you do this?
we're hip. Yeah, we're very hip.
Well,
Hello,
attention
hello,
makers.
fellow children.
We are here to investigate. We are on pickpocket duty.
Yeah. They're still on pickpocket duty.
Still. And then guess who now knocks on the door? It's
Who is it, Coco?
Tournesol man. It's Big Brain Man.
Big Brain Man.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
listen
his name.
man.
Oh,
Yeah, and
geez.
Tournesol, he asks, yes, hello, I would like to talk with Mr. Tintin. And the captain, yes, why are you also called Rackham the Red? And he answers, interesting. And he just keeps like saying, interesting to captain's questions. And so the captain, he ends up screaming, what is your name?
Yeah.
He just, what's
Oh
wrong?
my god.
What does it say? What does he say?
Interesting.
And so Tournesol just walks in because he says, I heard you're going on a treasure hunt, but have you thought about the sharks? And Tintin, he says, the sharks? What? And Tournesol, he says, no, young man, the sharks. There will be sharks around the treasure, you know. But and then he goes on this tangent, like, no, we don't want it. Oh, you want it? Okay, you can come home. No, we don't want it. Okay. And
Yeah,
so
'cause
they
this guy built a shark-proof machine, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to come see it?" And Tintin's like, "No," and the guy's like, "Great, it's just not
great
that far."
shark-proof machine.
It's so funny because you almost never see Tintin mad, but like he's just mad at this guy who means no harm whatsoever.
No.
It's like, wow, that's so mean, Tintin.
Tintin's trying to be polite, and this guy's just, yeah. But yeah, Tintin is like maybe a bit unfairly mad.
I mean,
Well, I guess it, because like those other people were like bothering them about being Red Rackham, whatever. And then this guy comes in and is like, I'm gonna sell you a machine. And Tintin's like, no, thank you. And the guy's like, yep, let's go see it. And Tintin's like,
just
"No,
getting
thank
kidnapped.
It's
you."
just like that's the last straw.
Like, I
I'm going to
kidnapped.
take out all my anger on this one particular man.
Yeah,
This
Tintin
poor
politely
guy.
gets-
I know.
Yeah.
He doesn't notice.
And so Tintin and the entire crew goes home to Tournesol, and he has like this giant like hall of just machines. And
But you forgot Kosto. He introduces himself,
oh yeah,
like his actual name.
yeah, yeah, his name is Trifone.
Huh?
What is it in English?
In English,
Calculus.
Professor Calculus.
Cuthbert Calculus.
Yes.
Wait, have I gotten it wrong this entire time?
I mean,
You-
if it's a different name for you, then not likely.
It's Tournesol in Danish. I thought it
Hmm?
was that. It's Tournesol in Danish. I thought it was that. No.
What is it in Danish?
Tournesol.
His original name is Tournesol, but like English translated is Calculus.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
That's
Tournesol is
weird.
the original name. It wasn't always Calculus. Yeah.
Man.
That's so weird.
Myth busted. Do you know what Tournesol means? It means sunflower. So his name is Professor Sunflower.
Should we just call him
that's
Mr.
so cute.
Sunflower from now on to confuse everyone?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Why not?
okay. Yeah. He. Calculus / Tournesol is now called Mr. Sunflower. That way, if anyone ever tunes in on like another episode later, they just have, who's Mr. Sunflower?
No, yeah,
Later
just
episodes,
call
like-
him by one of his two names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 names.
Well, we gave him a third one, so
Just to confuse
Yeah,
people.
yeah, technically.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got a name, and we walk into Mr. Tournesol Sunflower Calculus's house, and he has like all of these machines. He has a gas generator. Isn't that just a normal generator? Or like a drill? And
That's a good question, Kosto.
yeah, and he has this machine with a wheel with like brooms on it. And
A
so
wheel with brooms on it.
what would you call it else? The broom
I have no
machine?
idea.
Advanced sweeping machine.
Advanced sweeping acquired. And
It
guess
only
who get
sweeps this corner where it's sitting, but it does sweep very well. Yeah.
Okay. So Sunflower Man, he has this machine, this broom machine, and guess who gets caught in it? Captain Man.
Ooh,
Captain Haddock.
man.
And he's like all twisted around, and his legs are like legs are breaking, and he
Ooh.
and so he gets like real mad at Sunflower Man, and you have to pay for new clothes. And then he just starts explaining about his bed.
Yeah. He's like, hey, look at this thing I built. Pulls lever, and it bonks the Thompsons on the head.
Bonk. Poor guy.
Everyone's just getting beat up here.
To be honest, he could just be like a kidnapper and just kidnap Tintin and Thompson.
He socially kidnapped them, Koso, because they couldn't refuse him. So he socially kidnapped them.
It do be like that.
Yeah.
When you're trying to social distance and a sunflower man comes up to your house and brings you to his laboratory.
Oh no, that mannequin. What to do?
Well, there's 5 of them, so they're still good. Don't worry.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Police.
None of them are coughing.
I require assistance. Sunflower Man has entered the building. Help.
Oh, we're putting this house on lockdown. Sunflower Man has entered the building.
Sunflower Man.
I repeat. This man is dangerous.
SOS, we are being held captured by Sunflower Man. Okay.
Oh my god.
We've had way too much fun about the differences in name.
Yeah.
I mean,
This has been like 80% tangents and 20% actually reading the comic.
yeah.
We've been talking for like 20 minutes
20% goldfish.
and potato chip scavenging.
I just imagine like 20% goldfish is tapping. Like
I
goldfish
hope you
and
know.
Oh
I hope
my
you
god.
know that I'm keeping this part in and not the context for what we mean by goldfish and barbecue chip scavenging. So yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, we have to continue. Weren't we doing
Yes.
a podcast?
Oh my god, we're just
Yeah.
talking about goldfish.
Wait, are we doing a podcast? I'm just goofing. Okay, let's continue.
Alright. So Tintin and Thompson, they get their head stuck again on the bed. Relatable. And
Yeah.
Tournesol, Sunflower Man, wants to show Tintin his shark machine, which is basically just a wannabe shark like figure. And so he
Yeah.
steps, he like crawls in it, or like sits in it, and he and it crashes down like because it's on ladders.
Relatable.
Relatable.
Oh my god.
And then he says, "I do not understand. It must have been someone must have sabotaged it. No, sabotaged it. Someone must have sabotaged it. My vehicle."
Catch me driving down the street.
Bitch should be riding in this racing car. I'll be riding in my shark machine.
Oh my god, stop.
We made it during podcast.
I'll be riding in my goldfish machine.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
We're having way too much fun about this. Okay.
I know, we're having way too much fun with goldfish.
Yeah. So Tintin he explains to Sunflower Man, we're sorry, but we can't like use your invention, invention, yeah. And Sunflower Man he says, my investment. Why do you care about my investment? So then he tries to explain that they can't use his invention, but he's like, "True, that's great. I can drop it off in about 8 days." A few days later, so like 3 days since the guy was on the cafe, or more, yes. And they're about ready, and they just need the diver suit. And guess what? They just walk by this like antique shop who's selling, you guessed it, diver stuff. And there's just like standing this old man just looking at the entrance.
But like, wouldn't they have gotten the diving suits beforehand? Because they're like pretty close to leaving, aren't they? If,
yeah,
like,
and shouldn't they like?
but like, they should have gotten that like first thing as soon as they're like, yeah, let's go diving for treasure.
Yeah,
they should have gone out and been like, let's get the diving suits now.
Yeah, what did they do else? Like, we need to get the ship. I have the ship. We need to get the ship anyway.
I guess they
were
took like.
eating goldfish.
Stop.
Okay.
Not
Enough,
funny.
enough.
They were.
Okay, it's not funny. Didn't laugh.
They were
Sorry.
barbecue chip scavenging those
Oh my god.
entire time. Okay, I'm sorry. Moving on.
Okay, so there's this like old man, he just staring at the entrance, and the captain he explains that they need a diver suit. Yes, a diver suit. Follow me. And he shows them this like really old like helmet suit, like belt suit, somewhat like really old model, or like like this golden one with windows.
To be fair, this comic was published in like the 20s or 30s, so
I guess,
it's probably a bit less outdated at that point. But
Yeah, I guess.
Wait,
Yeah.
it's the 20s now.
Whoa,
Yeah, we're in the roaring 20s.
that's
Wow, amazing.
The roaring.
cool.
I'm trying to make.
Roaring.
I hope
Gee,
somebody got that.
yeah.
And so the old man, he explains, "You better watch out, son. Uh, the your happiness is neither with good or gold." Um, and so yes, the old man, he can see that he's going on a treasure in his face.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. And the captain, he proceeds to look in like one of those like weird mirrors that's like bendy and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ooh."
Tintin actually says what it is. He says it's a concave mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned something new today
We all learned something new today.
when we read Tintin.
Yeah.
When he does a bunch of unnecessary stuff.
He
Goldfish.
does, but... Wow, Koso.
Just not
Wow,
funny
I
anymore.
haven't heard that one before.
It's became funny, then it's get outdated in less than like 5 minutes.
That's just
No,
how the
I'm
world
just
works.
like, Koso, you're like, oh, you need to stop talking about goldfish. Like 5 minutes ago, Koso.
Hypocrite.
Exposed.
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 And yeah, and then the captain, he wants to look at his face in a normal mirror, and then just decides to drop a mirror on the floor, and he says, "Oh no, 7 years of bad luck." And the old man, he says, "And 50 franc for the mirror," so he just have to pay. He has to pay for it. And he also says, "Then there's no more treasure in our time." And they just buy the ship. Oh no, they just buy the suit for 2,000 franc. To be
Really?
frank, yeah.
To be frank.
Jeez, they buy it for like 10 pounds in English, which I don't know how that translates to franc, but like 10 to 200, that's like holy cow.
2,000.
2000. I was off by 1 0 there.
That's enough. Yeah.
Close enough.
The next day, the captain, he's all sad because he says he's got an influenza, and he's sad. And
Yeah.
guess who walks by? It's Thompson and Thompson. Woo! And guess who escaped? The bird guy, Max Bird. Woo!
Wait, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. It's page 11 now. It's Mecha's turn.
My turn. Mom said it's my turn on the comic.
Wait, oh yeah.
It is my
Anyway.
turn.
Hello, brother.
Hello, brother.
I mean, I am the oldest of the three of us, so
Oh,
you
heck. Boomer. Okay, boomer.
know. Anyway, so yeah, Max Bird has escaped. Oh no, he flew the coop.
Because he's a bird,
Yeah, I'm so funny. But yeah, Thompson is like, oh, he gave the policeman the slip while he was being taken for questioning, which you think they would have done by now. But Tintin's like, oh, that sucks, obviously. And the captain gets a letter, and Haddock is like, oh, what's this about? And he's like, holy crap! And Tintin's like, what is it? And Haddock hands Tintin the note, and it says, it's from a doctor, Dr. A. Leach. It just to put that out there. And he says, dear Captain, I've considered your case and conclude that your illness is due to poor liver condition. So good news, he doesn't have influenza, he has a failing liver. And so the doctor says, hey, maybe here are some diet things that you can't eat, which includes every single type of alcohol, cider, spirits, cocktails, that kind of stuff.
I
And
like how the
so,
list goes on, like off the panel.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
just like, yeah, there's a lot more, but I don't want to name them.
yeah, we get the gist. It's don't drink any more alcohol.
Don't be happy.
But yeah, someone calls because they're like lower. I don't know how to describe this, but like yeah,
They're
and
down.
so there's yeah,
Down.
they're standing on a.
The deck
I'm
is
not gonna
lower down to
explain it.
compare to the dock.
Yeah, it's like it goes down and then it goes to the docks. So like there's a ladder you have to go down to get there, and guess who's standing at the top of the ladder? It's the Sunflower Man. And he goes,
Woo!
"Good, round
Sunflower
of
Man's at the top of
applause."
the food chain.
Yeah, at the top of the food chain now. That's why he's so dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, "Oh, I hope I'm not intruding. Um, I'm happy to tell you that my machine is ready. Can I come aboard?" And they're like, "No, we're not interested in your machine." And he goes, "Oh, tomorrow." And Heather's like, "No, not tomorrow, never." And Mr. Sunflower's like, "Oh, today, that's great. I'll go get it right now." And he leaves to go get the machine. Haddock climbs up the ladder. He books it and grabs this guy. He says, "Are you deaf? But you're not blind, right?" And he writes on the wall, "We don't want your machine." And Haddock goes back down the ladder and says to Tintin, "I hope he understands now." And Tintin's like, "Yeah, I hope so." And
Poor
Thompson
guy.
he's
Poor Sunflower Man. Everyone just rejects
I
him.
know.
Aw,
They're being
yeah.
so mean.
Yeah,
He
even
he
Tintin.
yeah. Well, Tintin's being a little bit less mean, but
Yeah.
still just a little bit mean. But yeah, this guy like legit doesn't know that they don't want his machine because he misheard them. He thinks they want him here, and they're just like, "No, go away." He thinks like
Oh.
they're suddenly just not interested in his machine, and he's like, "Oh, poor
I,
Aw,
dude."
yeah, look at him.
I like to think that he just in like a movie, if there would be a movie with this, he just turns to the camera and says, I'm dyslexic, so I can't read this." So he just
Guys, I
continues.
won't stop me because I can't read.
I'm Jared, 19, never learned how to read.
I'm Sunflower Man and I can't read.
Theories. Mr. Calculus is actually Jared, 19.
Wow, Jared Sunflower. Very old for a 19-year-old. He's lost most of his hair and everything.
He do,
Jeez.
Yeah.
he do be looking kind of thick, though, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Okay. So, one of the Thompsons goes up to Haddock and he's like, "Hey, Tintin just said you're not gonna go on the ship because you're scared from breaking this mirror. You think you have bad luck?" And Haddock's like, "Afraid?" Tintin's in the background. He's smirking. The little schemer.
Honestly, he looks a lot like the spy from the first page.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I told
Well,
you, they all have the same face.
they're all
we've
the same.
established all reporters look the same.
Yes.
That's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely.
But Havoc, he goes, "Me afraid? Are you kidding me? Do you not understand who I am? I'm Haddock. I don't fear anybody. We're leaving tomorrow, and that's that." And then he accidentally burns his fingers because he had like lit a match to light his pipe, and he had been talking, and so the fire got down to his fingers. But yeah, so they're leaving tomorrow, and that's that. And you know,
And
Haddock almost burns Snowy because he drops the lit match. Snowy's like right under him, but they don't show Snowy getting burned, so let's just assume he didn't.
also,
And
wouldn't it be like a fire hazard to like smoke a pipe on a ship?
well, they're
Would-
not on the ship just yet, so
But yeah,
no. I
literally,
mean, yes, it is a hazard. Yes, it is a hazard, but they're not on the ship yet, so
They are on the ship.
they are now. They're standing outside on the docks when he's lighting the pipe. So,
No?
but then they get on the
What?
boat.
Yeah, it cuts to the ship, but like they were on the dock, but like it just cuts straight to the ship.
Yeah.
Wait,
Who
aren't they
knows?
like talking on the ship?
No, they're still at the docks. Like that little
Well, yeah, they're
lower
docked, but
area.
it's can
Mhm.
still
What
whatever.
I
You see
assume
those
happens is there's still on the docks, and then after Haddock burns his hand, nothing of interest happens until they're on the ship.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. But yeah, they're on the ship now.
Yay.
It's like, oh, it's great that we're on our way now.
Yeah,
Haddock is.
snowy burning isn't not important. Not at all.
Well,
I
it didn't
mean,
happen, Milky, so.
Snowy's been
Thank God it
drunk
did.
like multiple times. It's not like we.
What are you
If it did
saying,
happen, that
Rakum?
would be funny. Like Snowy just burns off screen. Actually, no, that would be really sad.
Oh, we're pretty
Well, like in a cartoon kind of way.
Yes. Yes.
How can you make a dog burning in cartoonish kind of way?
No, he's been on fire before. I'm positive.
Yeah.
At least his tail has been. I don't know.
His tail has been like cut off and everything.
Yeah.
If I'm-
Flashback to the Vietnam days.
Anyway,
Really, that comic was so good though. The first one,
Oof.
yeah.
it was bad, but in a good way.
Yeah, that was so absurd, and I love it because of it. I just really
Yeah.
like ridiculous stuff like that. Like the part where Tintin gets drunk and then enters a plane race. Or, it's the other way around, but he wakes up in the morning with a hangover.
Yeah, and like when he sneezes and then the grate pops open
Yeah.
because of a sneeze.
That comic was so wild, and that's why I love it. Anyways, getting back to
Anyways,
this
yeah.
comic. Haddock calls out to Tintin. He's like, "Oh, we got a radio message." Tintin helpfully reads it out loud, and it says, it's basically telling the Sirius to slow down, and there's a motorboat coming out to them, and they're like, "That's kind of weird, right?"
Pirates.
And why do pirates have a motorboat, Koso?
I think they do.
They stole Red Rakum's treasure and bought it.
Oh.
I would like
Well, that's the end of the comic then, I guess, if there's no treasure to
Thank you for
find.
listening to
Yeah.
Tinmore Podcast. They all die. Oh,
No, they just
Yeah.
turn around and go home. But yeah, a motorboat comes up. It's Timpson and Thompson.
Woo!
Yeah.
And Haddock, he's like looking at them through binoculars. He can't quite see the passengers, but he's like, it better not be calculus or sunflower. I'm sorry. But yeah, it turns out the Thompsons are coming with them. Yay!
Yay!
And Haddock's like, why are you coming with us, huh? And the Thompsons are, look, we have orders to protect you. We're Interpol, so that makes it like more makes sense that we're protecting you. And Tintin's like, is someone threatening us that we need protection from?
The
And it's like,
Thompsons are.
the Thompsons are the ones. But yeah, the Thompsons are like, hey, do you remember that Max Bird guy? You know, who escaped from prison and hates you guys? And they're like, oh yeah, that guy. And so basically, it's that they're concerned Max might, because they saw Max skulking near the Sirius. Ooh. And they're concerned that he's going to try and kill them. And so now the Thompsons are aboard to, quote unquote, so that they will be, quote unquote, perfectly safe.
One thing I find like really stupid about this, like they don't get any competition. Like Max Bird is just he's from now on he's never mentioned.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit like
Just seems like an excuse to have the Thompsons come along.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They are vital to this story, Milky.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
The Thompsons are the main characters. Forget about Tintin. This is about the Thompsons now.
It might be called the Tintin comics, but it's about the Thompsons and their wacky hijinks.
Yeah. You know, Tintin, TT, Thompson, TT.
There you go.
There you go. Myth busted.
Yeah. Haddock's like, I guess we gotta find your room, whatever. And they probably have a couple extra bunks, and that's where they're gonna sleep. And the Thompsons are like, sounds great. And someone comes running up to Captain. And they're like, oh, Captain, I can't stand it. Haddock's like, what is it? And the guy is like, oh, Snowy stole a whole box of biscuits. And Haddock's like, no. And he phrases it like a question for some reason. And then Tintin goes, Snowy? And the guy's like, yeah, Snowy. I just saw him near the galley. And Tintin's like, oh gosh dang it, where is that wretched animal?
Oh my god.
It's so
Why is
mean.
it so mean?
Oh, I know that Tintin doesn't really mean it to be a mean thing though. Like, you know, I call my
Yeah.
dog Chonky all the time, and I don't even mean it. He's a Chonky boy.
Where's that chonky animal? He
We
should have
call
said
him
wretched. That's like, it's like he actually, because when you say wretched like that, it actually sounds like he means it.
Yeah, I think he's just irritated that Snowy was stealing food again.
Again.
Also, can we
But yeah.
make fun of how Tintin is standing like so proud and tall, like when he's
Yeah.
shouting for Snowy?
He's standing
He's
like
so
a big
small.
boy.
Big boy,
Tintin's such a big boy.
big boy.
Yeah.
Big chungus.
He do stop. He
Tintin's not a chunkus, okay? He's a twink.
Yeah.
He's a twinkus.
We all have to accept it.
He
He's
do
a
be
little
looking kind of
twink.
handsome though, not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
he really is a twink.
Anyways, moving on from that conversation. It turns out that Snowy's hiding behind a mask. And Tintin goes, I can't see him, that scoundrel. Don't worry though, I'll make sure he doesn't steal our food again. And the cook is like, good. And the Thompsons interrupt this, like, our cabin's this way, yeah? And Haddock's like, yeah. And then they go and get changed into sailor's uniforms.
Actually,
But like,
they look
leather
very
suits,
handsome.
They
The
do.
fan service. It's for the fan service.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Obviously, everyone's just clamoring for Thompson fan service.
They're the main characters, after all.
Yeah.
Girls be wearing Louis
But, like-
Vuitton and all that. Me, Tilson and Thompson outfit.
Thompson culture.
Gucci.
Gucci.
But yeah, they're just wearing sailor shirts over their suits. And they're like,
Oh yeah.
we have to act like sea dogs. And they're like, let's chew tobacco because, you know, all old sea dogs do that. And they start chewing it, and they just look
They look so
miserable.
hilarious.
They do. They're like trying. It's like trying to eat like a really stale piece of bubble gum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the face they're making. And and Tintin's like, oh, what do we do now, Captain? We're getting really close to that fishing fleet. And Haddock's like, you know what? Blare the horns, we'll give them a warning. And it goes, toot. And the Thompsons are so startled that they swallow the tobacco.
Oof.
Oh my gosh.
And then they died. The next day.
Yeah. The next day they throw the bodies overboard. I'm sorry, that was terrible.
We reduced her with the
It's
weight
okay.
of by like 200 kilos. 115 probably.
I'm an American. I don't know what that means, cuz.
We have reduced the weight by 220 bajillion hamburgers.
Oh, I get it.
Thank you.
I speak in hamburger.
Hamburger.
So the next day, the cook comes out again. He's so mad.
Mm.
And he's like, Captain, yesterday it was a box of biscuits, but this morning it was an entire chicken. And Tintin, he says that wretched dog again, but he doesn't look all that mad this time. He's just like, oh, not again.
I'm
Just like-
surprised my dog is so wretched.
Like his dog is one of those old timey like Victorian women thrown across the couch crying.
Yeah. Oh, that right. He's so emotional.
Oof.
Gosh dang it, now I'm gonna have to draw that.
Oh.
Draw me
But
like
yeah.
one of your French girls. I'm sorry.
But yes, Tintin's like, where's Snowy now? And he's walking around trying to find Snowy. He's power walking around the ship, and he turns around. He's like, "You really saw him make off with the chicken?" Kirk's like, "Well, not exactly, but I just guessed because
I
you're
thought, I thought you said you. I thought you said make out with a chicken.
Wait, you saw my dog making out with the chicken?"
Yeah.
And they're eating it.
You really saw him making out with a chicken?
Not exactly. I just supposed so.
That is something
Well, love
I
is
will
love,
not
I
be drawing.
guess.
I'm gonna draw Snowy as a very distraught Victorian lady, but I'm not gonna draw him making out with a chicken.
Yeah.
But yeah, Haddock gets mad. He's like, "You assumed? Don't you ever accuse anyone of anything unless you've got, you jerk." And he's like, "How do we know you didn't eat the chicken?" And then it cuts to Snowy having eaten the chicken.
That doesn't seem like a very reliable like source of like justice. Like, do we have proof? I don't exactly have proof, but like he's the only one who could start. Nope, not trusting that. Sorry.
Yeah. He's the only one. Like, Snowy has a history of stealing food. Because in Shooting Star, he ate all their sausages. But they're like, no, he wouldn't have stolen a chicken.
Yeah.
Not Snowy. But yeah, we move on from that because it was very important. But now we had to move on to that. And Haddock saying goodnight to Tintin. He's like, just watch Snowy, okay? And Tintin's like, yeah, I know. And he's presumably walking back to his cabin. I don't want to presume things because I have no proof, but he's walking on the ship and he hears someone shouting, "Beef!" And he's like, "Oh, it's the Thompsons." And he sticks his head in their room and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And one of the Thompsons goes, "It's him, Tintin stole my pillow." And the other one goes, "That's not true. It's him. He took one of my blankets." And Tintin's like, aren't you ashamed of yourself for fighting 5-year-olds? And that's the end of that. No important.
Yeah.
But
They look so ashamed, though.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
Yeah.
thanks for driving the point home, Tintin.
Also,
they look like children and were just scolded by their mother.
also,
Yeah, they're like playing with their thingies.
Yeah, their neckties.
Yeah.
Also, one of their hats looks a lot like a like one of those discs with music on them. What are they called?
Oh, a record disc?
Yeah, record discs.
A
Yeah.
vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl.
Yeah. Vinyl. Is it a wonder that any of us we're
What?
like, it's shocking that any of us know that word. We're so young.
Whoa, it's not like we're reading comics
Yeah.
from like 100 years old.
Yeah.
As if technology from many years ago isn't obsolete, and even the younger generations can at least know about it.
Okay, but
Interesting.
Our kids these days are reading Tintin.
I don't think that argument would work because Tintin is like super old.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't want to assume things, Milky, so
Yes, thank you, thank you. Thank you for understanding.
yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
It just sounds so like sincere, just like thank you so much.
I'm glad to have been of service, Costello. But yeah, Tintin is going, he's like, okay, I'm going to bed. I'm done dealing with some stuff. But then Haddock is like up on the upper decks. He's like screaming, and Tintin's like, "Captain, what's the matter?" And Haddock is like, "All my bottles of whiskey have vanished." And Tintin, he's like grinning. He's like, "Oh, well, someone must be worried about your trying to keep you on your diet." And Haddock's like, "Well, you can laugh, but if I catch that crook, he's in for a rough time." And Tintin's like, "Yeah, we'll talk about it in the morning." I go, "Oh."
Oh my god, he sounds so suspicious. It's like he's the one who threw them
I know,
overboard.
right?
I know.
Yeah.
Also, I like how we learned in the Shooting Star, cough cough, that the captain isn't supposed to drink alcoholic beverages while serving on the ship, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, also isn't he like the president of like sober captains or something?
Oh yeah, he's the
ASS.
president of ASS.
Yeah, he's the president of the ASS.
Man.
Anyways,
Anyways.
Tintin definitely looks suspicious. He's like, I'm dead tired. Good night, and then leaves. And Haddock is still like, oh, whatever. You do what you want. And then he goes down to the hold, and he opens a crate of whiskey, but it's not whiskey. It's some mystery object. And Haddock's like, oh my gosh. And he runs. He goes right to Tintin. Poor Tintin's just trying to sleep. But Haddock's like, Tintin, you have to come right now. Right now. And Haddock's like, we're going to blow up. There's a bomb. And also Tintin got dressed like remarkably quickly.
Yeah.
Oh
He just,
yeah.
like, he grabs his coat from wherever it is, throws it over his pajamas, and then he's at the door.
Wait, he
In the
actually.
time it takes.
Yeah, he actually has his pajamas on.
Yeah, he does. It's very cute. But anyway,
Yeah, it is.
Haddock brings Tintin down to where the quote unquote bomb is, and Haddock's like, oh, be careful, it's in here. And he tells Tintin, don't go near it. And Tintin's like, I have to, Captain. We have to get to the bottom of this. And that's just so Tintin. He's like, you know, it might be a bomb, but I'm Tintin, so.
Yeah, it's not gonna kill me. It might kill my friends, but not me.
I'd like to think that if the captain would have gotten his way, they would just be standing in the doorway just looking at it.
Right. Like, what are they supposed to do? Haddock is like, oh, there's a bomb in there. What was Tintin supposed to do? Be like, yeah, from the doorway, it definitely looks like one. Like, what? But Tintin looks at it and it's just steel plates. And Haddock's like, steel plates? That's so strange. And it's not a bomb after all. Thank goodness. And they open another case. And it's even more steel plates. And just all the crates.
There's a bunch of steel plates.
Yeah, it would have been funny if if the next steel plate they opened was where the bomb was, and like Adam was like, "Oh, there's the bomb."
That would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's not a bomb. They open the next crate. Oh, it's just steel plates. Wait, actually, it's a bomb. Oh crap.
We're gonna die.
But yeah,
Casually waiting for the end.
They're like, they had to throw it overboard. It's the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Haddock is mad because there's no alcohol on. He's like, if I catch that monster who played this horrible trick on us, he'll be in for a rough time. And Tintin's like, let's go to sleep, Captain. Let's talk about this in the morning. And it's the next day, and Tintin is cheerfully like, well, we can't accuse Snowy of biscuit stealing. Wait, what does he say actually? Hold on, let me read.
It is certainly not
We can't
snowy
accuse-
this time. Hey, chicken and some biscuits.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
a,
okay.
a whiskey. Bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, he says Snowy would steal biscuits and chicken, but I don't with whiskey, which I almost doubt, and I doubt a great deal actually, because the next panel, Snowy is completely drunk, and Tintin's like, "Holy crap, he's drunk!" And he's like, "Snowy, what'd you do?" And he's like, "Oh, Snowy, your breath smells so bad," which all dog breaths do, because they're dogs. But his smells especially bad because. And Tintin's like, "You had to show us where you got the whiskey." And Snowy's like, "Oh, you want a drink too?" And he shows them. There's like alcohol streaming down the side, and it's just all over the deck. And Tintin's like, "Oh, it must have smashed up there. Let's go look at it." And they climb up, and it turns out that there's there's a smashed bottle of alcohol that like had run down to the second level, and Haddock is mad about it because, of course, and Tintin's like, "Wait, do you hear that?" And they hear some snoring, and they're like, someone's asleep in the lifeboat. And Haddock is like, that's impossible. The lashings are like secure. But then he's like, no, they're not. And he's like, yeah, there's someone in the lifeboat. And they open it up, and it's Sunflower Guy with a biscuit.
Sunflower Man.
Yay, he's
That's
back.
cool.
Yeah, he's back. But yeah, Haddock is like, get up right now. And he's shaking him. He's like, what'd you do with my whiskey? What'd you do? And Sunflower Guy's like, yeah, I had to confess, I did sleep really poorly, but I hope you'll give me a cabin. Haddock's like, you think that we're gonna give you a cabin after this you stowaway? And he's like, where's my whiskey? And Sunflower's like, oh yeah, it's on board. And Haddock's like, oh, thank goodness. And Sunflower's like, yep, it's in separate. And Haddock is confused. He's like, my whiskey is in separate pieces? And Sunflower's like, yeah, it's smaller than the first one, but, you know, it was too big to pass unnoticed. So I had to dismantle it and pack it all the parts in the cases. And Haddock's like, okay, but what about my whiskey? And Sunflower's like, oh no. It was the night before we sailed. And he says there was a case of alcohol still on the dock. And he's like, okay, I just took out the bottles and put the pieces of the machine in their place.
Oh, God.
And Haddock is like, I'm going to throw you overboard. And Sunflower's like, oh, thank you so much. Just what I expected from you. You're so kind. This is a great welcome. You won't regret this. And so they're just letting him stay on the boat now. They can't exactly throw him overboard. So.
Pro tip how to like travel for free. Just, oh, that's so nice of you. No, you're not welcome. Thank you.
Right? Milka, do you want to take over?
Oh yeah, it's fine. Okay, glad you noticed. Okay, so yeah, he didn't throw him overboard, but it cuts to some days later. Okay, so Haddock's like, okay, we reached the position indicated by the parchments. We should soon see the islands off which the unicorn sank. And since like isn't the island marked on the charts, Haddock's like, no, but sometimes like with small important islands. And then they're like, and then they try to spot it, and they don't see anything. And the Thompsons like, do you see anything? And they're like, no. So they're all just seeing. Look at them go, seeing.
Look at them go.
Look at the boys, not seeing anything.
Yeah, the boys are seeing. Well, not seeing.
Me and the boys were
Boys.
looking out for a pointless island.
Me and the boys. Okay, but then Sunflower, whatever. Sunflower, I'm just gonna call him Calculus, whatever.
That's
Yeah, that's fine.
Calculus sees. Oh, he sees, and he's like, over there. And then Haddock's like, I can't see anything. And Calculus like, no, it was a shark. Yeah, it was a shark.
just
I saw one. I really did.
Yo, my invention is going to help.
Yeah, and they're like really surprised about it. But Haddock's really mad. That it was a shark.
Also,
Yeah.
Oh man, you saw a shark. That's the worst.
Sharks
Also-
are so
yeah. Also, is what? Which religion is it that like has that funny hat, or like that hat? Is it like Catholics?
Sunflowers?
Yeah.
No. I think it's Jewish, maybe? But
Someone look it up. We need to cover this because that's the first actually religion that we see in this world.
it might not.
Ooh.
It might just be a random hat, but yeah.
No, I'm sure that's a. No, I'm gonna look it up.
It's definitely not Catholic though.
I did not notice he was wearing that until now.
He's got to have something to cover his bald little head.
Yeah, what happened to his fedora? Wasn't he wearing like a fedora?
It was like a bowler. I
Yeah,
think.
bowler. Not a fedora.
It was like it wasn't exactly a bowler, but it was the same kind of shape generally.
Yeah, I don't really remember. Ghost is typing furiously in the background.
Man, that's my
I
keyboard.
have to find out what he's wearing.
I have to.
Mm.
Just like when
Dramatic keyboard type.
Dramatic keyboard type. Gozo, can you make typing sounds and say, I'm in?
Hacker voice.
I'm in.
We got a voice.
What would the keyword be? I mean, like, wait, hold on.
Hat that has
Type
a tiny
just
string
hat.
on it. Hat. Type in hat. Maybe you'll find it.
Type in hat. I mean, I found one of these.
That's not really the hat he's wearing.
No.
It kind of looks like a beret, to be honest. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It looked like it's vacuum sealed on its head, like it just
But
sticks.
that could be a poor drawing.
Oh,
Did you find it, Prism?
I did. Look.
Oh.
Look at his hair.
So it's a Catholic hat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that's something that regular Catholics normally wear. It's like a pope hat.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Sunflower's a pope. Oh my god.
Amazing.
Sunflower's a pope. He do be looking kind of religious too.
Is there like more than one pope, or is it just the pope?
No. There are multiple popes.
Oh.
There's
Pope.
I do believe
Why is that word so funny?
Pope.
no. There's oh gosh.
There's only one pope.
Yeah, there's only one
Really?
pope, and yeah, trust me, I'm a Catholic. There's one pope who lives in Rome, and then there's priests and the
Wait, hold
arch.
on. There pope in North Carolina?
What?
What did you say? I thought you said there's a pope in North Carolina.
No, there's a pope in Rome.
Oh.
And then there's
I thought you said North.
priests.
And then there's like these.
There's priests and then deacons and
there's the
similar
red
ones,
people
but...
that like see they're like smaller popes. They're like, who decides who of them
Smaller popes.
Yeah.
Smaller popes.
Well, we have archbishop for
There's
like
the pope,
each.
and then there's the tinier pope.
Mini pope.
We have archbishops for like each little area of whatever. So like each different like it's hard to explain, but like the archbishop where I'm living is different from where the archbishop of somewhere else lives.
I mean, like, we someone also have a bishop in Denmark, but we're Protestant, but it's like, that's like the guy that controls the like bigger place. So he controls the cathedral, I think it's called. No, it's like he like controls the major like
the
place.
government.
This has been a very strange
controls.
Yeah.
We've been talking about hats and Catholicism.
Yeah. But yeah, I think can we conclude that the sunflower is Catholic?
Sure.
Yeah, he is a pope. Because he's a mini pope.
He's not a pope.
Oh my god, sunflower is a pope.
He's a
pope.
Oh, this looks nice.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, moving on from that tangent.
Yeah, anyway, so Haddock's like, okay, there's no signs, very strange. And Tom's like, what's the name of the island? And Haddock's like, I don't know, it's not marked on the charts. But Tom's like, oh, you're sure you're it? And Haddock's like, yes, I plotted the position yesterday. And Tom's like, yeah, okay, cool. But I think you made a mistake in your calculations. And Haddock, he gets mad once again. He's like, "Oh, I made a mistake in my calculations. They're on my table, so why don't you just check them? Yeah, go on and check them." And
Use your
Tintin's
big
looking at
brain,
him.
Thompson.
He's a big brain. He's a big brain Haddock, okay? Trust him.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tintin's looking at them all surprised, like, why? Haddock is really pissed. Haddock got pissed on like 17 different occasions in this comic. Like, poor
Another
guy.
counter. How many times Haddock is mad at someone?
Yeah. Okay, and then you can see at the back of this panel that Calculus like spotting something. He's pointing at it. The next panel, he's like, "Tell me, Captain, was that a fish jumping out of the water?" And Haddock's like, "No, it was a huge piano."
Oh yeah, he says that. Relatable.
I hate when grand pianos just jump out of the ocean. It's so annoying.
You know it's a grand piano.
Just
Yeah,
goes
we
back
find
into the
in
water
the
with a
pond we
giant
find
clang.
gold. What was that?
The piano just goes back into the water with a giant clang.
Clang.
I think they would have noticed that.
Yes, the piano in its natural habitat. The beauty of pianos.
I'd love
Yeah.
to like know someone that's just deaf, and whenever they like ask for something, you just say them come to you like, "What do you think about this color?" "I think elephants can fly," and you just, "Yeah, I think so too."
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Alkaka's like, "Oh, like, I didn't think it could have been." Yeah, he's basically just kind of agreeing with him. He's just like, I guess it was a piano. Like, we all know he didn't hear him.
Yeah.
So a few minutes later, Thompson's like, "Oh, forgive me. There is a mistake in your calculations."
They do have big brains.
Biggest brain
Oh
is.
gosh. Yeah, you're right. Haddock is the small brain. They're the alpha males.
That's why they're the
Okay.
protagonists.
Oh
Yeah, they're the protagonists. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're always right. Okay,
Yes.
so and then they're like, "Look, this is where we are," and Haddock's like, "Oh, I guess you're right. I have made a mistake. Please take off your hats." It's like somebody died. It's like, oh my
His
god, I made a
dignity.
huge mistake. Yeah, my intelligence died.
Intelligence died. I'm going to use
So
that as an
take
insult
off your.
from now on. My intelligence died
Yeah,
from
just like, why are
listening
you
to.
taking? Yeah. It's like when your friend is dumb, you're just like taking off your hat, and they're like, "Why are you taking off your hat?"
My
And you're
intelligence.
gonna be like, "Your intelligence died."
Yeah. I'm
Mother,
warning you.
my intelligence has died.
Anyway,
Anyway.
anyways, and then Thompson's like, "Why must we take off our hats?" "Because his intelligence died. Have some respect." And they're like, "Yeah." Paddock's like praying. I don't know why he's making such a big deal out of a mistake. I mean, I know he's a captain, but
Yeah.
Still.
I guess it's his lineage, whatever.
It's because he loves ships.
Yeah, he loves ship. He
And
is
being
ship
right.
man.
Yes.
He's ship man.
Sure.
Okay, and Tom's like, can you tell us what you mean? And he ignores him. He's like, now. Okay, according to our calculations, we're standing inside Westminster Abbey. Whatever that means. Probably just a part
In my
of the
version,
city.
it says they're inside the Peter's church in Rome. What's it?
Oh, they're in a church?
Yeah.
But what it means is one of they have actually,
You're
and
cutting out.
according to the calculations they did, they're standing inside a different building entirely.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
Peter's Cathedral.
Oh,
I think that's why.
wow.
Like, I think that's why he's praying. Like, because they're in the Peter's Cathedral thingy in Rome.
yeah,
Totally.
It's
because
just.
he's making fun of them.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the captain is also Catholic? Question mark.
No, he's just making fun of them because, he's like, oh, according to your maps, we're supposed to be standing in a church,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we're not. So, huh?
Also, why does Captain Haddock know the coordinates of either one of those places?
Because he
Well,
loves ships.
yes. He's a geography.
No.
He
I'm
is a
He-
geography.
He is geography.
Wow.
What do you call that? A geographer.
Geographer.
Geographer, yes.
Yeah.
He's a geography.
He is geography itself, the embodiment of it. Just, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, no wonder he knows so much. And Tintin's just smiling. He's just always smiling.
Yes.
He's like, great prank, bro.
Yeah. Tintin's so proud of him. He's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's the Haddock I know. Okay, so then they see then Haddock's like, oh my god, what island have we arrived in? But they see no island. And Haddock's like, I'm beginning to think that guy was pulling our legs. And it means like he's tricking them or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Din's like, oh, I'm beginning to think so too. And then Haddock's like, okay, we'll soon see. It's almost noon. We'll take a side. I'll go and get my sextant. I didn't mean to say it like that. Anyways, he's like, yep, he's looking through the sextant, yeah, and he's like, okay, the figures given in the parchment were blah 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 blah, and here's our position now, blah blah blah. So, and he's like, okay, so we already passed the right point, and yet we saw nothing. I don't get it. And Din's like, oh, I see. I think I've got it. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, Din's like, the meridian from which you calculated. Oh god, yeah. I'm reading like a bunch of geography nerds just talking to each other, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May I? Oh, you may.
Yeah.
Make it.
No, you go ahead. You probably can.
The geography nerd. So
Yes,
Tintin,
the geography nerd.
Tintin, he explains that the captain here is obviously in the Greenwich median, so that
Meridian.
Meridian. And then the man, his ancestors, they were they used the Paris meridian. I have never heard of the Paris meridian, but I'm sure someone knows about that. So yeah.
Not me. So.
Not me. Definitely not me.
Someone does, but it's not in us.
I can tell you where Vietnam is.
It is in the east. I mean, yeah.
If you go east, you may find it.
Yes.
Just walk a bit east and you'll probably find
it.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh, thank
I
you.
hope that helped.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what are they saying?
Basically, they calculated using meridian, and it's so they're off a couple degrees.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. So they are off a couple degrees, and so Haddock's upset. Oh no, he's not upset. Nope, he's smiling. He's smiling, so he's clearly upset. No. So yeah, they're back on track. And Chicago's like, question mark? And he goes to the captain. He's like, what's happening? We seem to be turning back. And he's like, yeah, we're turning back. And he's like, oh, I was afraid we were turning back. Never mind. And then, yes, he's like, yeah, it's just hijinks. Okay, not hijinks. This is just a joke. That evening, they finally find the island. And, yay. That was pretty anticlimactic, gotta say.
Yeah.
It's important, Milku, actually.
Yeah, I know, but you know.
The fact that they missed the island because they were off a couple degrees and spent like pages talking about it. Important.
I know. Oh my god, you're so right.
Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't really matter that like entire page of nothing.
It's for the conflict, Koso.
Yes.
No, it is important. How dare you?
How dare you?
Character development.
Yeah, there you go.
We learn that the captain knows the coordinates of a few places around the Earth.
We learn that he
Yes.
is geography itself.
Yay!
Yeah, yes, that's what we have learned.
That was your
So
daily
yes, it
dose
was
of
very
geography.
Okay, so so basically the next morning they take a boat to the shore. And fun fact, the first panel of page 25 is Hergé's favorite panel that he drew.
Is it really?
Oh,
Yes, I read it somewhere.
understandable.
I read it. You can trust me. I read it somewhere
Trustable
in
source.
Oh,
the internet.
that's really
Yeah, but I
cool.
don't know why it's his favorite.
Looks
I
pretty
guess it's
cool.
just habit.
I guess I can understand that because sometimes with art, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that makes you think about the drawing in a different way than someone else. So I can kind of see it actually.
Also, it
Yeah.
must have taken so long to like draw the ship and the waves for every single panel. Like
I know.
Oh, I know, right?
Gosh.
Yeah.
he must have thrown out so many like sketches because the waves
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
would
that
look
giant, yeah.
yeah.
And the islands, the whole islands that he drew, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
on the previous page, yeah, that must have taken a lot of work.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe it's his favorite panel because he didn't have to draw that much.
Well, I think he
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, they get there, but then Haddock falls, and so does Thompson, I guess.
Man, you make it seem
Yeah,
like so irrelevant. He falls.
yeah, he just falls. Not important at all.
His gun goes off. Not important at all.
Boom, gun
Yeah.
safety.
Oh yeah, his gun went. His gun did go off. Cool.
Yeah.
Kevin's like, Tin's like, oh my god, Kevin, what was? Did you hurt yourself? He's like, no, I stubbed my toe and then I fell, and then the gun went off. Yeah. So and then also the Thompsons are also hurt. Their toes also got stubbed, but by a crab this time.
They've got
Which
crabs.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
It's alright.
In
Not
my
long enough.
version, Thompson just screams, "Oh, oh,
Oh.
yeah. Oh."
Oh yes,
Okay.
the dialogue, the precious dialogue makes the scene, you know.
Yeah, them shouting, screaming makes the comic even more detailed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, they got bitten by a crab. Not bitten. They got pinched. They got pinched by a crab. And yeah, Thompson hits his toe to get with his cane to get the crab off. And basically everybody's just hurting except
Except
Tin.
Tintin.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
he's Tintin.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Hag's like, oh my god, just leave him alone. Just help me dig this piece of wood. It it intrigues me.
Hello,
It's wood. It intrigues me.
I have been intrigued in the wood.
I am intrigued in this piece of wood.
I am
Just let them
fascinated.
die. Yes, let them get pinched by crabs and possibly die. So they dig up this piece of wood, and the Thompsons they're all limping and stuff because they got bit by crabs. And Haddock's like, okay, these are the remains of the boat in which Sir Francis Haddock used and once came ashore on this island. Cool. So he's like, well, this proves that we're nearing our goal. Red Rakum's treasure is out there in the bottom of the sea.
Man, I don't think anyone can follow along how fast you're reading.
Really?
You're reading so fast.
Okay.
Just read a little slower.
Okay. Let me read slower. Red Rakum's treasure is there.
Not funny. Didn't laugh.
Thank you,
Okay,
Rakum.
cool.
Very funny.
So Red Rakum's treasure is nearby, so they go through the woods or the jungle, like jungle, and Snowy's there. He brings a bone, and Tim's like, "Where did you get that?" And then Yeah, they come across these more bones. Hooray.
Bones.
And there's also skulls.
Yeah,
Which is
the-
kind of
the
horrific to
skulls
watch.
aren't important. They're just more bones.
Mm-hmm.
More
Skulls,
detailed
whatever.
bones. Round bones.
Yeah, round bone. They're not called
Mhm.
skulls. They're called round bone.
The big brain bone.
The big brain bone. This is where big brains are stored.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, these are remains of the pirates killed when the unicorn blew up.
But
And
They
Jin's
just
like,
flew.
no.
yeah,
And Jin's like,
Can
no, that's not right.
if it was only Haddock, Francis Haddock, that got to this ship, this island, before the ship blew up, he escaped, but and everyone else was still on the ship when it blew up. How are the remains of the still there?
Maybe they blew up so far that they ended
I
up on
mean,
the island.
maybe
Wait,
some
no,
of
no,
them
no.
just drowned and he decided to bring up these corpses from the ocean bed.
Oh gosh.
Oh
There.
no, that's really sad.
I mean, like,
Okay, but
I don't see him like
I'm,
just blowing up and flying like with intact skulls, like some sort of
guys,
Minecraft Steve.
I have the answer, guys.
Oh,
So the next panel it says they're natives.
oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
also very sad. Wait, no, they
Yeah.
just that's probably just that graveyard.
Yeah,
It says
okay,
they were
so
probably killed in a fight, so probably not. But
I
yeah,
thought
killed on yeah.
I thought of it as Francis has eaten them, ate them,
no,
as in he ate the
Koso.
Oh
natives.
no. Oh no, that's really
That's really
yeah, that's
dark.
morbid.
Yeah.
Let's move.
Okay.
Let's
Anyways,
move
back
on.
to the back to the kid-friendly comic
On.
that we are reading. So okay, so Tim's like, look, it's an idol, cool, and it's like, oh, that's supposed to be, and Tim's like, oh, that's supposed to be Francis Haddock. And he just describes the thing, like, look at that mouth.
Yeah,
Whoa,
That's that's
very,
probably
that's a mouth.
very big.
okay. So yeah, that sure is a mouth. And then
Sure is.
Haddock's. So this is the faces of the natives when he shouted, "Ration my rum," and next panel Haddock's like, "Ration my rum," and Captain's like, "What's the matter?" And Haddock's like, "Who shouted that?" And Jin's like, wasn't that you?" And he was like, "No." And
No.
so they shouted. The person shouts, "Ration my rum" again,
Mhm.
and they're just like, "Oh, it's over there," and it's like, "Oh, that's nobody." Oh gosh, and Tom's like, "Oh gosh, this island is haunted. Let's go back to the ship." And they keep shouting stuff.
Mhm.
No, yeah, just insults that Captain Haddock would normally
Isn't
shout.
this basically just harassment by birds?
Okay, so they go towards that voice, and the voice is still there. They're just like, oh, the voice is up there, and they happen to be parrots. Wow, this whole thing was very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
I
we know
mean,
that this
scenery.
was on the island and transferred his whole language.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it
Yeah,
sets like the scenery and like this is
Mhm.
still an island. Whoa.
Yeah.
We're
yeah. Okay,
hating on this comic way too much.
I know.
We're goofing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just
Everybody's just like in a bad mood in this comic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the birds call him names, because
Mhm.
they're birds.
Yeah.
And then Captain tries to throw a rock at them,
It's
but
the coconut, Milku.
it's a rock. No, it's not a
Coconut
coconut.
No, it's a
rock.
Does that
coconut.
look like a coconut seed?
Yes, it does. It's got little sprouts on top, Milku.
Yeah, I'm joking. Okay, so yeah, he actually throws plot twist. It was a coconut. Uh,
Oh my god.
yes.
Big please.
So there's a coconut, and somehow the coconut lands back on his head. Ugh.
Also, you
And
forgot the
Hanag's
part
like
where
livid. Wait, what?
he sprains his back throwing it, and then just like, oh, cast you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tin's like, I'll rub it for you, if you want. He just like stops him in his tracks. Wait, I can rub it. We have plenty of time.
I mean, they do have a lot of time.
Yeah, they do. They could get up to some stuff.
Oh, this is so ridiculous, but it reminds me. Never mind.
It reminds you of what?
I think it was Sonic 06. There's this part.
Yeah.
The part where we're in Sonic are
Silver and Sonic are what?
they're talking, and I don't want to say it. I'll type it.
Is it in the fan dub?
Yeah, it's in the fan dub.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hold on. Okay. Well, basically, Rouge is like,
Don't be so hard on Silver.
and he goes, "I'll be as hard on him as." And then
Oh,
Silver
yeah.
says, he goes, "If you're," and then there's, and then Sonic goes, "What?" And that's just so funny. But that's what
I
it
know.
reminds
He's just
me
like,
of.
why? He's so sad. He's just like, how could you?
He's like
Still.
so confused. Oh gosh, it just reminded me of that. Sorry.
It's okay. Sonic fandom is gold.
It is.
You guys should go watch it. If you guys haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Yeah, boy. After you listen to our podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's be
Okay, so
more
anyways, yeah.
intense.
Okay, so Haddock gets so mad that he's like, give me your gun. Give me your phone. Give me your gun. And so, and Tin's like, oh my gosh, calm down. Let's forget about them. Let's go. Ken's like, okay, let's go. And then the gun's gone. Tintin, because he put the gun, I don't know, he put the gun on next to a tree just to, placate the captain, which is really thoughtful.
It
But,
is.
Yeah. Yeah, just imagine comforting someone with a gun in your hand. Like, please stay calm. Yeah, just ignore this gun in my hand.
You better stay calm or else.
Yeah. So Tintin's like, oh gosh, what happened to my gun? And, so he's like, okay, it probably fell into the bush. And, okay, and they're like, no, it's not in the bush. It's gone. And so they hear other noises. So many noises in this jungle. And it's the monkeys have taken the gun.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, the monkeys.
Weaponized monkeys.
This is the second time Tintin has had a gun in the series. So
second time he had a gun, what?
stolen by wild animals.
Oh yeah.
I think isn't there more times? There was one in the
There could be.
In the Congos.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I think there's
But
more.
I don't remember any of
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing to make on this stuff.
Yeah. How many times Tintin's got his gun stolen by wild animals? Very not specific at all.
Don't know.
Don't know. Okay, so Haddock's like, oh gosh, you better give me that back. And Tom's like, it's no use. Just I'll frighten them somehow. And then they use their canes as guns to frighten them, even though they're not actually guns.
Yeah. Well,
anyways, we have reached the halfway point.
Not quite. I think 32 is the halfway point, or 31.
No, it's 31. Should I just take the last
31?
page?
Sure,
Yeah,
why not?
Okay. Yeah. So they take the gun and they are like, oh, he shoot, bang, bang, bang! and the monkeys shoot off Haddock's hat, which is also a thing we need to make a list of how many times someone has shot off Haddock's hat. And so
That's probably only going to be this one so far.
You think so? I think it's more. Yeah.
Guess we'll see.
Guess we'll see. And then the monkeys they drop the gun, and Tim and Thompson they're like, oh look, it worked, yay! And the gun drops right on their heads. And the captain he gets mad again, and like, that was 3 centimeters away from hitting my face, Captain Haddock. Good night to him. And
that is a valid reason to be mad.
and Tintin he recommends that they should head back to the ship, and the captain says it's a good idea. And so so they're about
That's
to
probably...
they decide to take the fetish with them, and that, my dear friends, is the halfway point of this comic, and that is where we have to end it here. We are happy for you we are happy that you listened along, and impressed that you made it this far. I sound like a news article man. Remember to come back next week on Wednesday as well for the next episode. Good. I was joined by Mecca.
Yeah.
And Milku.
Yeah.
And myself, Koso. Yeah. Goodbye.